Good morning, family. Good morning, intercessors. Good morning, citizens, change lovers. I welcome you today. This is a beautiful, beautiful morning, and we are so thankful that we are here alive in one piece. And we want to appreciate the Lord God of heaven that is keeping us on, keeping us strong, keeping us in faith as we are awaiting our great news, Zimbabwe, that we are praying for and we are seeing it approaching. Thank you very much, Gogomandazi. Thank you very much, Mesinyika. How are you, my sister? We want to thank you so much for being very, very, very patient and always, finding yourselves ready to hear the gospel of the freedom of the people of Zimbabwe. So I want to welcome the whole family to this service, to this session. Actually, we want to say thank you so much for joining us. For those that have not yet subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to the channel and also ring the bell so you can continue to receive almost every video that we are going to be posting online. Thank you very much for being here, and I want to really appreciate you for the support that I am seeing from the family support that we are seeing from the citizens. Generally, you don't find people standing up, especially when it is early or when it is just in the early hours of the morning. Most people want to rest, but I'm seeing people were in the studio already waiting. Taurai Chinondo, thank you very much, my brother. Hilda Machova, yes, my sister, how are you? God bless you. Modesta Gogo, how are you? Thank you very, very much for being on the show. Right. We want to be looking at what is happening in the nation. As many, many other things are happening, we continue to see performance from the side of ZANU-PF. And if everyone will be really asking themselves what really is happening, right? The issue we are looking at is the issue of Mnangagwa-Chivhayo. We are seeing Mnangagwa-Chivhayo, in a spree of buying cars, luxurious, expensive cars, and handing them over to especially ZANU-PF enablers and all people that have been campaigning for ZANU-PF during the elections. So we are saying the act that we are seeing happening with Chivhayo and all these shenanigans that he is playing, it's a scheme that is just a money laundering scheme that is happening within the ZANU-PF and Emmerson Mnangagwa. While other people are just thinking that Mnangagwa-Chivhayo is just buying cars, it is not just that. There's a lot behind the scenes. It is actually a money laundering scheme because people need to find out first, where is Nick Wicknell getting all that money from? Where does he work? Which companies is Mnangagwa-Chivhayo running? And also, who owns the garages that are selling all these cars? So you find that when they have dirty money, they can use the dirty money to go and buy from garages that are owned by ZANU-PF again. And then those garages can now go and bank the money. It will be now clean money. You see, that is a laundering scheme. So this is exactly what is happening. But besides that, ZANU-PF has always been stealing, and they've stolen from the beginning. We are no longer even worried about their schemes. So the thrust of this discussion really, excuse me, the thrust of the discussion really is not about the scheme. It's not about their stealing mechanism. That one, they can do as much as they want. We are no longer even worried because we know that it's the DNA of ZANU-PF to steal. But our issue is the moral part of it, the morality of it. So we are saying this is not good for the moral of the country. Because what are people learning out of this? Lauren Chinyere, thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the show. So we are saying, what is the morality behind this? Because the issue that is really now happening in the country is Zimbabwe, through the bad practices of ZANU-PF, they've started to cultivate a wrong culture within our people. A culture where young people are just going to give up on working hard. The culture of working and working ethics is being destroyed. The culture of putting effort in studying, so that our young people know that it is important to study, it is important to go to the university, it is important to acquire certificates, diplomas, educational qualifications, so that they can get maybe a good life in the future. That is being destroyed by ZANU-PF now. because ZANU-PF wants to start to teach the culture of the MBINGA, where you have people that are uneducated. Wikino is just a big uneducated fool who does not even know what he's doing, but he has just been picked by ZANU-PF through some connections, one way or the other, and he's just being used as a pawn. So he's just a pawn of ZANU-PF who is just being given loads and loads of money, and they just instruct him to do things that he's doing. But what we are saying is it's sending a wrong message. It's a wrong message that is being sent to our young people. Our young people will think that education is useless, because when you see somebody who ended at grade 7 being able to live the lifestyle of Mnangagwa-Chivhayo, and people that have gone to the University of Zimbabwe are selling airtime at the bus rank, you know, it sends a wrong message. And this is exactly what ZANU-PF wants to do. ZANU-PF now wants to get rid of the educated people. ZANU-PF wants now to destroy the education foundation that Robert Mugabe has established from the beginning of independence. They've realized that, you know, educating the nation is a problem, because educated people are not easy to push over. So what they are now doing is they want to make sure that they destroy the education system. They don't pay teachers. They don't pay. They don't improve the education system. They don't fund educational programs to make sure that everything goes down. They want to be leading a country of dunderheads. This is what they want. So they are cultivating a wrong culture. This is why we are saying whatever that Mnangagwa and Chivhayo are doing, they are setting a wrong precedence in the nation. It is not good for the morality of the nation. And we will need to have a lot of work done to correct this wrong, to bring the right mentality again to the children, to our young people, to say, you know what, hard work pays. You know, education is good. It gives you an opportunity for a good future. That is the standard of life that causes nations to be progressive. Because if you don't teach young people to work, you just teach them to deal, kungwava, all the like. Everybody is becoming a dealer. That is not a progressive country. It's a country that is just based on dealership and kungwava is a country of thieves. And that country does not prosper because it can't relate with other progressive nations, because we can only connect to progressive nations when we are doing business, so that the business economy of another country can connect to the business economy of the people that are in our own country. But if you are dealers, you are just taking one thing from one place, you double its price when you take it to point B. You take it from point A at half a price, you double the price when you put it at point B. So this is the life that is happening in Zimbabwe, and that is not life at all. This is why you find that the economy does not rise, because everyone has become a dealer. From the president is a dealer, going down to the ministers, they are dealers. You go to the senators, they are dealers. The MPs are dealers. People at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, they are dealers. People that are in the mining sector, they are dealers. All permanent secretaries are dealers. You know, what kind of a country is that? How can we have a country of dealers? And everyone else is becoming a dealer, going down to the very last individual in the society. So when we live in a nation of dealership, that world is not doing money. That world does not create wealth. It just creates exchange of money from one point or to the other. And that money is not passing through the banking system. And that is the problem. This is why you find that ZANU-PF is not promoting the banking system. If they really wanted to promote the banking system, they should have removed the ZIM dollar totally first. Yes, it is very important to remove the ZIM dollar totally first. Deal with the US dollar, allow the US dollar to go into the banks and let it be available when anybody needs it. And when there is confidence in banking, you now introduce your ZIM dollar. When it is backed by, you know, gold reserves, then people will have confidence in that currency, because what causes currency to survive in a nation is the confidence that people have in that currency. Unfortunately, people can never have confidence in whatever ZANU-PF is doing because of one simple problem. ZANU-PF are not worthy to be trusted. They have cheated Zimbabweans for a long, long time. They've cheated Zimbabweans since time immemorial. So no one now is ready to support their programs. Nobody else is able to jump onto their ship and say, okay, guys, let's go, let's move, let's believe in this, let's work together for this. There is no one. The whole citizen is against ZANU-PF and its policies. That's why whatever they plan, no matter how good it might be, it will never prosper, because it does not have the support of the masses. So ZANU-PF is a colossal failure, and there's no how that they are going to survive it. And this is the culture that they are imputing in our children. We don't want this culture. We want our children to know that there are ethics of hard work, and we need to understand. And look at the other problem that they are creating, which people have been discussing. So I'm going to be sharing a screenshot here of the discussions that citizens have been having on Twitter from what has been happening. This is Lynn M. She's talking about issues that are happening here. She says, Ratanga, you said it yesterday, these cars are useless gifts if one can't afford to keep up with the cost of fuel and services. A lifestyle needs maintenance. These lot will end up selling their cars at a loss, perhaps. We need a better Zimbabwe that works for everyone. Let me just open there. We need that works for everyone, not freebies. Exactly. This was coming from Chairman Mbolaz, who had tweeted that Slumani putting $10 fuel on a GLE at Toyota Greencroft is heartbreaking. Why give people vehicles they don't afford? You see, these are the vehicles that Mnangagwa-Chivhayo is buying for somebody. You are buying a car for somebody who has not reached that level of lifestyle. Because these cars, the more expensive the car is, the bigger its engine, the bigger its power. It means the bigger its maintenance, the bigger the tank is, the fuel tank. And with the expenses that ZANU-PF has caused upon Zimbabwe right now, the fuel expenses, maintenance expensive, parts of the cars, everything is expensive. And you give an individual who cannot afford even to buy a Honda Fit, you give them a car that is times 100 the value of the Honda Fit. So what have you done to that person? You have not promoted that person. You have actually destroyed them. Because if they are going to be putting a $10 fuel in a car, maybe that is of 80 or 90 liters of petrol, or 100, what are you doing? What is happening? You see, this is exactly what is happening. So this is a lifestyle that is forced. Somebody is being forced to enter into a sphere of lifestyle which they can't afford themselves, because financially they are not up there. They are not up there. So ZANU-PF is just trying, to cause young people to think that it pays to follow ZANU-PF. It pays. Life is only in ZANU-PF. No one else can live a life except if they become part and parcel of ZANU-PF. And now we are seeing queues and queues of people that are calling out to that Jojo tank to buy them more and more cars. So exactly this is what is happening. So it's unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate that we are seeing a wrong precedence, a wrong set of morality that ZANU-PF is, trying to set in the nation, where our people, our young people, will end up now being, just beggars before ZANU-PF, thinking that all life is just about ZANU-PF. You see, this is actually what is happening. So the African says, my sister, rumor is they got the cars, but not the papers of the cars. So this could be a very true situation. ZANU-PF, we know ZANU-PF. You never, ZANU-PF is like the devil. You never eat anything of the devil for free. The devil can give you something today and you can celebrate thinking it's yours, but the payback is worse. So this is exactly what is happening. So it's possible that these people are not being given the papers, because you can be given the car today, 100,000, 120,000 car, and then you are given the papers. Once it's in your name, there is nobody who can take it away from you. Tomorrow you can wake up having joined the blue train, parking that car at the rallies of the blue train. Mnangagwa-Chivhayo cannot take that car away from you. So what security does Mnangagwa-Chivhayo have that these people will continue being ZANU-PF? The only security is don't give them the paper. So somebody will still be hoping that one day I'll be receiving the papers for the car. So they will continue supporting ZANU-PF. So you see already they have been captured. They have been captured. This is the same thing that Mnangagwa did when he promised that he was going to give people title deeds. He spoke about title deeds, and he went to Epworth and gave a few people, I think less than 50 people, that were just given some title deed with the hope that the next title deeds are coming, so that the people of Epworth will continue to support ZANU-PF, hoping that one day their own title deeds are coming. If they would go the other way, what about if the papers would come and they are discovered that they have shifted from ZANU-PF to the opposition? Then they would keep people guessing. They would keep people captured in prison already of ZANU-PF. So this is a scheme. While they are busy cleaning dirty money, they are also using it to capture many and many people, especially those that have names, that have influences, that are probably the celebrities, the known names in Harare or in most of the cities in Zimbabwe. So this is exactly what is happening. So it is said. So Lynn says here, my manje Mercedes-Benz inokandira mazai chave chireshe. Exactly, it is going to happen because you are giving it to somebody who does not have the financial muscle to be able to service that car. Those are cars that are supposed to be serviced right where you buy them. This is where you just go under some tree and you just say, my car is not idling well, and then he takes a hammer and start hammering it. No, Mercedes-Benz, you'll have to take it back to Mercedes-Benz. Then they will have to service the car, they put it in that diagnostic machine. They check everything. And when you put it there, they remove everything, including small fuses whatsoever. So there is no way you can say, just fix this part only. They make a total, an overhaul of the car, and then they give you a bill. And how many people are able, from these guys who are receiving these cars, just because they danced and they twagged for Mnangagwa at some rally, yet they themselves in their own life, they can't afford to do that. So you see, this is exactly what is happening. So somebody saying, guy vana chero akaisa pondo ndeyake, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Well, that's wrong advice. That's wrong advice, because you can't give, even when you love your child, you cannot give your 16-year-old child your Range Rover and say, son, you can take my Range Rover and go over the weekend and just enjoy, because you are giving your child a big temptation, because there is the value of the Range Rover itself. The weight of a Range Rover in society will also attract a big devil to your son. You see, so it's not wisdom. Even if you can have 5 of them in the yard, you'll be a foolish father to give a Range Rover to your 16-year-old boy and say no, because there are many in the yard. So this man who is this guru these are the people that are corrupt, the elders that are corrupt in the nation. We don't like people like this. We want people that teach the young people the right things. Our young people must learn morals. Our young people must learn to the culture of working hard, the culture of sweating, so that they know the importance and the value of things. It's just like spoiled children. When you have spoiled children who just grew up getting everything that they need, the moment they get angry, they can smash an iPhone. It's an iPhone on the ground that was so expensive, just because they are angry, because they will know that the following day, daddy is going, or mommy is going to just go and buy another iPhone again. So those children, they will never be successful in life. Look at the children of billionaires. Billionaires teach their children hard, tough. They never just give them money on a silver platter. They don't do that. They will make sure. Most billionaires, especially in the first world, you hear them saying their riches, they've actually attached their riches to charity, not to their children, to charity. And they just establish something for their children to start working from, so that they rise from there. Because you have to grow within the business. Your attitude, your thinking framework, your patience, your hard work must be put in something, so that you grow as your business grows. Then you will have experience of knowing the do's and the don'ts in the business. You have to know the pros and the cons of the business. And then when you do that, you have been taught, you have been trained to be a successful person. You don't just get to give a spoiled child a billion worth of a business. They will just shut that down within 3 months. They'll be broke and they have nothing. So we want a culture of teaching our young people to be hard workers. This one is one that is also trending, Mazoe. Just imagine Mazoe is costing $5 in the country that produces it, and while it is sold outside Zimbabwe for maybe a value of about $2 or even less, $1 something. And yet in the country that produces it, it's now at $5. This is the situation that we are seeing happening in the nation. And it is very, very sad that Zimbabwe is drifting into this kind of nation. And this is the nation that we are saying we want to continue to declare that we want our nation to be free from ZANU-PF, because ZANU-PF has done enough. I think enough is enough. We don't need to continue seeing this kind of leadership that we are seeing in our nation. The economy is crashed. Nothing is moving. Prices are skyrocketing. There is nobody who cares about anything. People are busy smuggling, stealing, cleaning up dirty money, and making deals, and teaching our young people not to have the zeal to work hard, to learn at school and acquire education, just to become MBINGA, just go and romba somewhere, just take somebody's head and go to some place and you make money. This is the culture that ZANU-PF is now trying to inculcate in our people, and we are rejecting and we are refusing it, and we are saying we will not accept the idea and the mind and the culture of the devil being cultivated in our nation. We will never accept that. This is not the Zimbabwe that we want. We want a Zimbabwe that is progressive, a Zimbabwe that is God-fearing, a Zimbabwe that is hardworking, a Zimbabwe that has been made by a culture of Ubuntu, where people understand that there's respect for property, there's respect for hard work, there's respect for going to work, being punctual, doing things on time, being able to be led before you begin leading. This is exactly the kind of country that we want. I'm just going to put 2 comments or so on the screen before we can cut off. Remember, these morning shows on Live with Chatufa, we make them shorter for the sake of other people who can't be staying for the hour that we do on Chatufa television production. Those ones, ndo madamba refu when we go to Chatufa television production. But here, we just want to make them shorter and shorter so that those that cry about data, they can also have some 20-25 minutes probably of watching most of their shows on their lovely channel. Vanhu ngwarai zvasatani zvinopera, muchaona magumo acho. Takaona zvakawanda, ndakaona vakawanda vakabhuroka overnight, vasvipwa nevanhu ava chisina sweat achigara. Definitely that is very, very true. That is very true, Gogo. You are really giving advice. This is the advice that our young people must always know, so that they work hard and they don't envy the people who are just flashing out wealth, which they can't explain where they are getting it from. We will not allow our children to just be flashing out wealth, which they don't understand where it came from, which they did not sweat for. That is not right. It's a wrong precedence. It's a wrong teaching. It's a wrong culture. It's a wrong moral value. We want our children to understand hard work, to understand the respect for work, waking up in the morning and finding themselves doing things the right way. And that will bring a progressive Zimbabwe. That is exactly what we are praying for, what we are believing for. And as intercessors, we are praying that the Zimbabwe we want, the Zimbabwe that has morality, is the Zimbabwe that the Lord is delivering as we are getting closer and closer to our freedom. So we thank the Lord so much that He is answering our prayers. And very, very soon, ZANU-PF will be history. ZANU-PF will be out of the way. And we will begin to fix this country with the prayer and the Lord helping us to drive away these spirits that are bringing wrong attitudes and wrong mentality in the nation. We don't want that. We want progressive nations, nations of respect, nations that are full of people that love one another, that are peaceful and hardworking. So for now, family, I shall be signing out. Thank you so much for joining us on this show. Let us meet at the main channel, Chatufa Television Production, anytime after 12. I'm going to be putting a thumbnail to indicate the next idea or the next show and the subject that we are going to be touching. So be ready for it. The thumbnail will be on very, very soon. Otherwise,